I was stood on the top of it earlier, on the top deck, on the shelter deck, and we'll have a look around there in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm just walking through from the accommodation area at the moment, going into the work deck, the fish deck where the nets are hauled from. I'll go through it as much as I know about it. I have been out with the boys on one or two occasions, so I have a little bit of an idea. As we explained before, the nets are shot off the stern of the boat through the net bins that we saw back there, and they're shot out, and the anchors, there's anchors to hold these nets down, and they're put out through this big door here. It's closed at the moment because it's a safety issue. And the anchors are put out through there with the markers so that they know, the guys know where to come back to collect their nets. I believe all the ropes for the nets are going to be kept down in this bin here. All the ropes and the ropes that goes up to the markers. And I believe that the anchors are going to be kept down along here. Obviously they're not on the boat at the moment because the boat's not being fitted out for working. Behind there, that's a couple of the anchors that they use that is on board at the moment. And there's and once when they go to haul, once the marker, once the skipper up top has seen the marker, it's picked up, brought in through, and then the start of the net comes over this massive hauler here, and comes through that hole. Prior to that, of course, I showed you before that there's a hydraulic ram up there that lifts this big steel plate up. The big hauler here drops out, the net comes in over the hauler through those big rollers there, over the side of the boat. The fish come in, drop in that tray down, a lot drops on the floor of course, and they're taken out of the net. The net will be lying there. And Rod, who's not with us at the moment, he'll be around that area taking the fish out, which will go straight on to this big stainless steel chute that has been specially designed for this boat while it had its refit. And the fish will go down through this chute, which we've now got some of our victuals on to keep nice and cool for our journey going back. We'll go on there, and this will be the gutting bay, where the crew, Matt I think will be doing this. We'll be gutting the fish, and the gut will be going down through that slope there, through that stainless steel chute you can see, and out through the side of the boat. And this is the big wash tank that the fish will be washed off into, and then put in boxes on these specially arranged fish boxes will go on these frames, and then they'll be stored in the fish boxes, washed down, cleaned down, and go down through the big isolated doors there that will be opened up and down into the big fish room, which I'm told will collect store 400 plus boxes of fish, which we may have a look at later on. When the nets have been emptied, someone will be at the stern of the boat in those net bins that we looked at, and the net will be taken from the floor up through that chute that we saw going along the top of the boat, out to the stern, and put back in the bins on that rack and pinion device, and ready for shooting again. And the process will keep going on and on while they've got their probably about 8 miles of net out. not in one length, probably 4 lengths of it split down. I think that, from what I'm told, they're working about 8 miles of net at the moment. But this is the area, this is the industrial area where all the fishing is processed, and it goes down into that hole. Another net transporting machine up here that will transport nets eventually into these 2 bins here. That, as I say, we've got the anchors in and other bits and pieces that will be obviously tidied up for when they'll be working the boat. Again, that's the steps up to the top deck. Obviously closed at the moment because we're at sea and things must be kept very safe. The hydraulics that will be manned by Tom. Tom works the big hauler here in general. Well, he has done when I've been with them. And these are the hydraulics that he'll be able to operate. But also, this is controlled by the skipper up in the wheelhouse that we'll see later on as an override. There's all sorts of override systems, and these are all the hydraulic pipelines and everything. There's one of the cameras that you'll see up later on. There was a couple in the net bins that we saw earlier. There's one there. There's cameras all over the place, but we'll see what they're for later. But yes, this is the work deck. This is where it all happens. Yeah, and as we walk through the cabin, we go in through to the heads, and we're having a look through the heads, and then going on the back there and on to the sides of the show. And to pan around to see oh my God! And lo and behold, who have we got here? Fancy that! You can't keep him out of the bloody camera, this fella. He's look, he's polishing. I think he'll end up as skipper. He's obviously trying to impress. Look at him. Hey there, Matt. Give us a smile, Matt. Well, there he is. Look at him. He's at it again. Hello, kids. He's got his window lean. He's been. Happy man. He's been hunting all. Never mind the monster. Never mind anything else. All he's happy if he's got his window lean, and he's turns on and turning clean. Brushing up all the time. He's absolutely obsessed with cleanliness. Not only is he my main man, he's champion gutter and cook. In fact, I'm going to stay on the blinking boat. Just polishing now. Look at him, mate. Now he's playing to the camera now. He's overdoing it a bit. I can't believe I don't believe anybody can be as clean as that. He's overplaying it now. Okay, there's a limit. Happy man with his window lean. Well done, Matt. I believe we've got gammon for tea tonight. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, look, he's at it again, Matt's at it again. He's trying to impress. He's all over this boat. Everywhere I go on this boat, that man's busy always. Look, he's... there's Tom. Tom doesn't look too concerned about the situation at the moment. In fact, he's not concerned. He's going to go and have a sit down. I've seen it all now. This boy's absolutely obsessed with cleaning. Every time I look at him, he's got window lean or a pledge or something in his hand and a cloth in the other. I thought he was playing to the camera at first, but he's not aware of the situation at the moment. Look, you can.
The situation is half that.
Stroke all over his face. Work, cleanliness. Yes, skipper owner doesn't look too stressed out at the moment. He's happily enjoying a piece of freshly baked cake that Matt's baked the skipper. I think he's creeping and crawling to the skipper a bit. But he's He's got a big grin on his face. Look ahead now, brother. I don't know that he'd be too happy if he's got kind of on radar, so I guess it's naval or some sort of government agency that's running these stuff.
Dry room. Dry room. Shell.
Yeah, I'm just panning in on the screens that are all around the ship, all around the boat at the moment, and another obsessive person down there, joint boat owner, younger brother, wrapping the hydraulic pipes with insulation tape. Well, it's not actually insulation tape, it's, I can't remember the name of it. Grease tape, grease tape, fully insulating everything down there. Obviously he's unaware that we're on camera, but this is a typical case of big brother is watching you. Big brother in the seat, little brother down there, going about his duties. Good boy. Okay, so I've just come in from out on the deck. It's getting a little bit fresh out there now. The sun's dropping down a bit. In the distance there, over to the port side, if you could just make out the mountains of Snowdonia. So we're more or less on a latitude of them, and possibly Wexford behind us on the starboard side. We're passing down through the Irish Sea. Now, I'm now in the wheelhouse now. As I say, we're coming to the wheelhouse. The sun's dropped enough for me to be able to run through some of the equipment up here. I don't know all of it or by a long chalk, but there's this main switch box for the wheelhouse. Quite a big, large wheelhouse, this lovely sized wheelhouse. Going down to the port side, we've got the hand controls here for the forward, the stern, out of gear, in gear, speed. This is operated from both sides of the ship, depending on which way the skipper wants to be working it. There's the skipper's chair in front. Looks like Tom's in it at the moment. Watch. Skipper, Alan, I think, is actually doing a break at the moment. It was on for quite some time earlier. So if I come around to the other side of the chair, where Tom's glued into the chair, I think. We've got the cameras where we went through the boat before. The cameras, these are to enable, obviously with the shelter deck, the skipper can't see what's happening down below, so he's operated by cameras. That's where we was down on the work deck before, where the anchors go out through. The anchors go out through, and all the ropes for the nets. Then we come to the right of that, and that's the cameras for down in the engine room. That's Alan or whoever's on watch can keep their eyes on the engine room, what's going on down there. Willie, the engineer, presumably would be down there with his piece of oily rag sticking out his back pocket. And there's the depth sounder, and also fish finder. That picks up when they're going through finding the shoals of fish. The little lever below it is the rudder alignment, tells you which way the rudder is facing at any certain time. There's Tom's domain down below on the work deck. That's the hauler that we went through earlier. That's, as I said before, they can work it from down there with the hydraulics, but also there's the skipper's got to be able to operate it as well, and he can operate it by these controls on the side of the helm's table. The one on the left is to operate that down there with the override, and the one on the right, this one on the right, that's for the for the plotter, the AIS, that screen that you see in front. The little piece in front pointing down in the centre of the screen is actually us going down through the Irish Sea. To the right of it, you can see the Gower Peninsula. No, that's Bardsey Island. That's the Clyn Peninsula at the end of North Wales. So we're coming more or less in line with Cardigan Bay and Holyhead. We're just slightly south of Holyhead. The big plotter on the left hand side again is showing us that on a wider scale. That one there in the centre of course is the AIS, which tells them. There's the large radar screen. The large radar that we looked at before is set for 6 miles in top left hand corner there at the moment. And that little cross is a naval boat that went, a naval ship that went past us earlier. There's James. There's the co-owner James. He's down there actually checking on Matt's work at the moment. Matt went around down there to tidy up, but I guess James is checking to make sure everything's a-okay. And you can see the gutting tray and all the washing facilities there behind him. Dropping down, we come to the auto elm there on the top. It won't live there, it will live in that hole just below. There was a little bit of an issue with that up there, but they got it sorted. But it's going to go into that hole once we get back to Newlyn. Below it is a large radio, the distance radio, if you like. They can speak over a greater distance than the one above it, which is the VHF. That mirror there, I'm not absolutely positive, but I guess it's for the gyro compass. Is it, Andrew?
Magnetic compass.
The magnetic compass that's up above it, up there. That's the small radar. It's a little bit dark here now, but that's a small radar there as opposed to the larger one down below. And as we pan around to the right, there's Andrew. He's having a chill out at the moment. Then we go around to the internet business, the laptop and the internet, the equipment that they use to get in touch with shore, to their buyers, suppliers and various other people when they're at sea, when they want to know what their buyers want and who they want and all that sort of stuff. Charts there in the chart table. That's the other helmsman's control on the starboard side of the boat, should he wish to come over to this side and keep his eye on what's going on down there as he's going up to his markers to pick the nets up. Then we come around, looking across the wheelhouse. There's the ship's wheel, nicely shining. That was used, that's very, very precise, as the others are, but as it was used to come down through the narrow Caledonian Canal over the last couple of days. I'm on the starboard side of the wheelhouse now, and if I go to my left towards the stern where the net bins are outside that we looked at earlier, this is sort of residue from the stern trawler that she was, and some of the controls now that will be used to work the rack and pinion device that we had that we talked about or down below in the net bins earlier on. That's now coupled up to part of that design, so it can be worked from back here, and you can see down through there where we were earlier. So I think for now we've covered the ship, the boat. We've been all around there. I think